55NJ. We help seniors make educated decisions on their relocation and their downsizing needs. So we do a live show every Thursday. We're easily accessible. You can search for all the 55 plus communities on our website at over55nj.homes. And you could always reach out to us anytime. Our email address is over55nj@gmail.com. So that being said, we're just a direct message away. We're so glad to have you here. And we do these topics. A lot of topics we come up with and curate are from you, our community, customers that we work with. So it's just great to hear the feedback, hear about things that you want covered so we can research and answer these questions for you. I had a college professor once say you should always ask a question if you have one because other people in the class probably it's a good reasonable bet that they have the question too. So never feel silly about asking a question. Not only you benefit, but everyone benefits as well. And then we benefit because we can keep accumulating this knowledge and going from there. So today we have a very special topic, and kind of what's on everybody's mind when they downsize are the cost savings and where am I going to go? Housing in New Jersey is so super expensive. It's incredible. I was just helping a good friend of mine buy a house in Oakland, New Jersey. We were in bidding war after bidding war. We just won one yesterday, which was amazing. But the past two times we just got beat out by cash offers. And I'm talking about big cash offers in the $1.2 million range. So it's amazing that people have this much cash on hand to spend on these properties. But what's also amazing is there's 7 other offers on average to compete with. You have to be way over asking. So housing is just getting very expensive and it's being cyclical and it's kind of like rolling into the next cycle where these houses close, there's new comps, and the houses in New Jersey get more and more expensive. So something to think about if you're downsizing, if you want to liquidate, we can give you an estimation of what you can expect for your house and kind of go from there and just put the whole plan together. But let's go into the housing costs of the 55 plus communities. So let me just go through here. So a quick history of 55 plus communities. The first 55 plus community was built in Arizona. And after World War II, it was pretty much the golden years, right? War was over. Many people saw their life expectancy rising. There was a boom in wealth, quality of life increase, technology, everything that happens. The whole country was feeling good. And seniors kind of wanted like another life for themselves. They didn't want to be in communities where they had to pay school taxes. And like I said, people were living longer. So in the 60s, you saw a boom of 55 plus communities. And the first one is believed to be built in Arizona. The first 55 plus community in New Jersey was built in Lakewood, Leisure Village. So fun fact there, we have a lot of customers looking there. So they're like the pioneer here. But you see in a lot of places in Monmouth and Ocean County, a lot of these communities were like popping up all over the place, close to the schools, close to the beach, rather. Great location, a lot of underdeveloped territory. So that's why we have a ton of them here in Monmouth and Ocean County. And so, kind of the brief history was, and it's kind of funny. Like you look at history, but nothing really much has changed. Where people still want low prices, they don't see the value of paying high taxes in school zones, and they just want like a relaxed, comfortable, low maintenance lifestyle, something single level, something simple that they can kind of kick up and just not worry about anything anymore. I talked to a woman yesterday moving from Bayonne. She was in a 2-family and looking to downsize, looking to get by the beach. She loved going to the beach. So that's what we have here in Monmouth County, just a lot of great options like that. And there's just a ton of them just based on the zoning laws and things of that nature. So that's kind of like a little bit of history. And like I said, not much has changed. They're still very popular and still people still need to downsize as they age. I don't see that changing whatsoever. So with that being said, let's go into what's happening with pricing. And we're going to look at how competitive it is for 55 plus communities. So we'll go into the basic stats here about what's happening to pricing. And we'll do a side-by-side comparison based on single family homes. So right now, believe it or not, the median single family home in New Jersey is trading at $560,000. It's gone up steadily. This past year, prices gone up 12%. Compare that to adult communities, you can see how much cheaper they are at $360,000. So we always look at them. I always like to look at the medians. The medians take out the high and lows and the outlier. That's a real estate trick that right there is if you look at the median price, that's just generally the better indicator of the market. So you can see there's more single family homes built. That's not a surprise. And then just going down to the closed sales, 1,389 for adult communities and 10,000 for single family homes. Now, what I want to show you too is the percent of list price received. This is a really great indicator, especially if you're looking at market per market. So you can see single family homes are going on average 102% over the asking price. Show supply and demand. If you want to simplify real estate, just look at supply and demand and simplify a lot of businesses for that matter. But supply and demand drives price, basic law of economics, and you can see the average price is going for 102% for single family homes across the board. For adult communities, it's a little less lax, which is great. You still have to be strong. I'm pretty much strong on all the offers we submit. Sometimes you can get lucky from here or there. But with great real estate, especially with something great, you really have to take it. And a lot of the customer base knows this. So you're seeing 99% for adult communities. And kind of interesting, kind of measuring the supply and demand for both of them. That single family is higher, but it's still pretty significant. The average being higher over asking price is a significant jump. Now, what's interesting is looking at the affordability index. I'm actually going to do kind of another video on this. The affordability index is a little bit misleading. It goes into different metrics. It assumes a 20% down payment and also takes the median income of people living in the area. So when you look at the affordability index, you're going to see it's much higher than single families. So an affordability index, you want to see the higher the better. The higher it is, the more people can afford it. And you can see like the average household will have about 28% more income than what they need to buy a house for an affordable for a 55 plus community. For single families, it's less like it's lower, so 81%. So the average single family is about 20% short of what it would take to afford a home. So very important to watch these stats here. For adult communities, it's a little bit skewed. We have a lot of cash buyers, a lot of people selling their homes to buy cash. So it's super different and kind of like not really a reliable metric. And especially since people are coming from all over New Jersey, I'm meeting a couple that's coming from Boston tomorrow. So it doesn't really. It's an interesting metric to monitor, but it is flawed in that respect. And you can see this is one of my favorite stats to track is the month supply of inventory. This measures how fast the market will sell out based on the month supply. So hypothetically, so in this case, they're the same. So hypothetically, if no other homes came on the market, which is unrealistic, the whole inventory would sell out in 2.7 months for adult communities and 2.8 months for single family homes. So the way to conceptualize this and the way to look at month supply of inventory, it's also called absorption rate. You may have heard that stat before, is it goes from a 1 to a 12-month scale for the months in the year. Anything between 1 month to 6 months is a seller's market, and anything from 6 months to 12 months is a buyer's market, and 6 is right in the middle of balanced market. So you can see it's just very much a seller's market in both cases. And that's what we tell buyers, not just buyers for single family homes like my friend that was buying and putting in a huge bid for his house, but also for you guys that you can expect growth and price growth and value increases just based on supply and demand. So it might be a little challenging to get something at first. We're very good at getting the offer accepted. We beat out a cash offer being financed, just with a combination of factors we can go into some other time. But we're very good at getting the offer accepted. And once you get the offer accepted, then you can enjoy price gains and appreciation. So it all comes down to being focused. We have a saying that great real estate planning is done in advance. So we want to reach out to you. We want you to reach out to us and just let us know what you're thinking. The lady I spoke to yesterday was probably next year. She was waiting for her husband to retire. She wanted to move next year. And it's she's a ways out, but that's the best way to do it is to get set up with our searches. Reach out to us for a phone call, and then we can help guide you through the process and kind of eliminate homes that don't make sense and just kind of put a plan on paper for you. So that's what it's all about. And it's all about buying smart, staying focused, and getting the right one, which we can help you with. Our website, again, if you want to look at the homes and set up saved alerts, is over55nj.homes. And you can kind of check out all the listings from there. Now, what we want to talk about too is this whole thing undermine the whole point, the downsizing aspect. And you might say to yourself, yeah, housing is expensive here in New Jersey. I might move out of state. We did a video last time about the value of staying in state versus moving out of state. And like I said, we're biased to this state. We love it here. But if you want to move out of state, we have a huge referral network. So it's a win win for both of us. And we just want to focus on you and what you want to do. But New Jersey is a great place to buy in. You can be very confident the values will hold here, if not get better. There's a lot of states that are just going down, dissipating in value across many markets. With New Jersey, we know the market. A lot of our customers have family support systems here, so it just makes sense to buy. It makes sense to buy here, own real estate here, and own smart. So that being said, we want to support you with whatever you want to do. If you want to move out of state, that's great. If you want to maybe look at a different solution, maybe you're not into a 55 plus community, maybe you're into a condo or a smaller single family. That's very common for people to reach out to us and say, maybe a 55 plus community is not for me. Maybe I want something smaller. We had another gentleman and actually a woman on two separate occasions that wanted a big fence around their backyard for their dogs, in which case we did not recommend a 55 plus community. The dogs aren't a problem. Most communities allow dogs and they promote dog ownership. They're great companions. I'm a huge dog lover myself. But with the fencing, that could be a little bit of a problem. They want everything to be uniform. A lot of the communities cover landscaping, so they want the mowers to have free access in between yards just to save time and for logistical reasons. So the fencing around the community may be a problem there. Um, so that just comes from being prepared ahead of time and just making sure all your ducks are in a row and making sure that you're comfortable with all the rules before buying, which we can help you with. Now, what's really interesting is what I want to talk about is investors and flippers. Are they kind of changing the game? Are they boosting the prices up? So last year we had a landmark court case here in New Jersey, which basically ruled against the laws of discrimination and saying that not, let's say if I wanted to buy, I'm not yet 55 years of age, but if I wanted to buy or someone else that's not 55 wanted to buy a 55 plus community, there's no prohibition preventing that person from doing so based on the laws of discrimination. So investors, you might think to yourself is, oh, maybe investors are going to be picking up the units and buying the units and driving up the prices for that reason. So I want to kind of like quell those fears for you for a number of reasons. One is you're buying into an HOA. I heard about an investor that was trying to flip a unit in a little silver complex that I know closely. And basically, there were rental restrictions on the unit. So in that community, only a certain amount of rentals could be rented at one time, which kind of safeguarded the community. So they bought the unit. They wanted to renovate it, which they did. They wanted to sell it for a profit. They kind of overshot their price and they wanted to rent it and they kind of wanted to pivot and hold it as an investment property, but they couldn't do so. So with these communities, they're not really the best investments. When we're recommending investments, we always try to go for multifamily, more units, and then also they take a little bit longer to rent, just based on there's being a smaller demographic of people that are allowed to live there. Because remember, you can buy a unit like this if you're not 55 plus of years of age, but someone that is going to occupy it, there's occupancy rules for that, meaning someone must be 55 plus years or higher. So a lot of investors are cognizant of that. They know vacancy costs will diminish their returns, eat into those returns. So it's something to be aware of and something to kind of like, when we're competing for these units, most of the time, 90% of the time, we're competing against other retirees, a lot of people downsizing that have cash that are building big. A lot of investors want to finance too, and a lot of investors just can't compete with us for that reason. And then on top of that, too, is the community is looking for people that occupy the unit. And then a lot of investors are very wary of going through the approval process, not just for themselves, but also getting their tenants approved. So a lot of red tape with buying condos and especially 55 plus communities where you're not really competing with many investors in many cases. So a very interesting development there um, in terms of the investor pool. And like I said, real estate is supply and demand, but from this demand standpoint, investors don't really drive the demand up for these type of asset classes. Now we're going to go into some alternatives for lower income seniors. So very common. Many of these 55 plus communities are privately owned. I mean, let's say if I had a client that owned a 55 plus community and they say, Robert, I want you to rent the unit for me. I would basically go and put the unit on the market. I would go and market the unit. I would determine the top market price for the unit and get them the highest price. We have a lot of people that reach out to our website that are looking for affordable rentals, in which case we refer them to the New Jersey Affordable Rental website. And a lot of them just can't qualify or don't have enough income, especially at this age, to qualify for a home that's on the market. Um, our job when we list properties for rent is to get the highest price, to get the highest price candidate. So there's some affordable options. Like, let's say if you did not want to purchase a 55 plus community, let's say if you're looking for an affordable rental, we can refer you to the affordable rental website and also refer you to our website where you can search for the 55 plus communities, affordable rentals, or search any other rental on our website. There's also mobile and manufactured homes. We had a client reach out to us last week on that, and we actually tried to get someone approved a couple weeks ago on that. They have a pretty vigorous application process. There were 8 other applications on that mobile home park. So very, very competitive. This mobile home park was $90,000 and people were just pretty much lined up. I think there were 7 applications on it and we were number 3 in line, in which case it's a first come, first served basis and we didn't get it. So there's that option too from that standpoint. If you're looking for some other options, we can definitely help you with that. And then one of my most common things I'm seeing is I don't know if about any of you, but when I'm driving around, I'm just seeing construction trucks everywhere. People love to put money into their houses, and most people don't have mortgages on their homes anymore, believe it or not, or most people have a super low rate. So, what we're seeing that's pretty common and making these phone calls too and talking to the public is people that are just staying in place and pretty much renovating their homes, putting extensions on, extending out the bedroom level, extending out, maybe putting like in-law suites in their basement. We're seeing a lot of people put money into their homes and staying put. So that's an option too. If you wanted to kind of look at that, we can kind of give you some price estimations for that. We can give you a valuation of your home, how much value that would add. But we're seeing that too as another option. Aging in place, it's called. There's actually a term for it. We did another video on it. And there's that option too of just keeping your home, doing some renovations, making some alterations, and staying put. When it comes down to it, it's not really a bad plan at all in most cases. But if you have stairs, if you have a bigger home than what you need, you might want to run the numbers based on the taxes you're paying. Remember, a lot of these communities have much lower taxes than a single family. You'll be shocked how much money and how much discretionary income you have by downsizing. So we can kind of run the numbers for you. We just did that with another client this month, where we just did kind of like a side by side breakdown of staying in place. He wanted to move, but he just wanted to see how much money he's saying. Just kind of like what you're paying now versus your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes, versus buying a 55 plus community, many times owning it outright with no mortgage, paying like a small HOA, and paying much lower taxes. So that's very common. If you want to reach out to us for a breakdown on that, we love the numbers. We do a quick video over the computer so you can watch it at your convenience. You can rewatch it, or you can set up a call with us over 55nj.chat. And we're happy to just go down the breakdown with you. But happy to go through those breakdowns with you. Just feel free to reach out. Now, we covered a lot here. This was great. I'm going to open it up to some Q&A. We'll just do some questions and answers. And then hopefully we'll send you off into a weekend with more sun. It's been raining. Question 1. With the question about the new PS1, which includes senior tax freeze, is it a 50% reduction up to a $13,000 property tax bill? Great question. We're going to go into this. This has not passed yet. We expect it to pass. It's on the books for next year. But yes, there is a cap on it. I believe it is $13,000, and I believe it is a 50% reduction. But it's pretty common for these bills just to go back and forth and to be kind of revised a little bit. I don't want to comment on it just now, but what I will comment on is we do expect it to pass just due to the uniparty majority in New Jersey. And two, this is on the books, and we kind of expect it to pass next year. So it's not on the books yet. We have the senior freeze and we have the anchor tax, among other programs. but the Stay New Jersey program has not passed yet. So, great question on that. We'll keep you updated on that. And with all these programs too, we have a checklist and we keep you informed so you don't forget. A lot of times the state puts this out there, but they're kind of counting on people to not apply for it. And if you apply for it, you miss it. That's it. But just being customer of ours and being on our email list, we make sure you're reminded and make sure you don't forget so you can take advantage. Question two: with a median price of 360,000 and an average nearing 393K, how many retirees on Social Security loan can actually qualify for a mortgage in a 55 plus community? So it's hard. Yeah, we speak to a lot of people who have retired. Perhaps they're on disability, perhaps they're on Social Security, and it's hard to qualify. So a mortgage lender will just go by the national standards and do a debt to income ratio calculation. And the problem is a lot of seniors we speak to are debt free already, but they just don't have the income to qualify for something like this. So we encourage you to reach out early. One of the customers I was speaking at today, her husband is still working. So that's really like the ideal is if you can qualify for a small mortgage or another financial product we recommend, it's really great to get ahead of this while you're still working because once you don't work, once you don't have proof of income coming in, your options are much limited. So it goes into our whole theme of our company is great real estate planning is done in advance, and it's just never too early to get in touch. In this customer's case, she reached out for a full year. She might be 2 years out even, but she's getting way ahead of the game, and we're just educating her on what to do. And more importantly, she has her options open now. Question three: is it realistic to expect aging homeowners to consider mobile homes or co living after owning for decades? Some people, unfortunately, don't have a choice in just terms of prices and just terms of income levels. I speak to people sometimes like they're rooming together, some people are staying with families. Um, it really just depends on your situation. But I will say humans have a great ability to adapt, and it's kind of like a weird phenomenon. We'll probably have to do a video or research it, but once you're in a place and once you're in the groove of things, 2 to 3 weeks, like you're in that groove and you're just getting used to it. But again, it really depends on the person. It depends on your income levels. It depends on your goals, your areas you're targeting. So we encourage you to reach out on that for your individual situation. Should 55 plus communities restrict sales to owner occupants to prevent investor takeovers? Restrict sales to owner occupants. Well, I think the question should be should they promote sales to owner occupants? They don't really need to. It's generally understood that many people are just downsizing. So when you say 55 plus community, a lot of people kind of like know that. That's excellent branding right there. You know exactly what you're buying. um, I heard this interview for the owner of 5 Hour Energy, and he basically said people should be able to get your product and understand what it does within like 1 second of reading it. Hence 5 Hour Energy and Energy Shot. So when you say 55 plus communities, there's not a lot of promotion that needs to be done. Some communities do have orientations, but most people generally know the deal. They don't really have to promote themselves to owner occupants. And then the investor takeovers. This was a great question that we went into today. There's not a lot of incentive to make a ton of money on these units. As an investor, you're probably better off investing your money elsewhere without HOA restrictions, without tenant restrictions, without the umbrella of an HOA. So no promotion needed. The community gets it done, and that's that. We saw a couple of those flipped homes, and the quality of the work was terrible. The contractors buying up these homes, with the contractors buying up these homes, doesn't it make it more competitive for people who would rather do the upgrades themselves? Interestingly enough, I have a customer that wants to do it that way. He told me he's very picky, which we love because kind of eliminates a lot of the field, all the homes that pop up on the internet like moles. So that's another benefit too, is you can kind of customize and get exactly what you want. Maybe you want this in your kitchen, maybe you want that. And more importantly, you can add value. So there's like everything looks good on the internet, right? But if you go through a flip that's pretty shoddily done, you can tell it instantly. And a lot of these investors, like, you really have to really know what you're doing. You have to really do quality work, to really make money, to really get the right buyer. So if the quality of the work is terrible, generally speaking, a lot of buyers won't bid on that. Now, it's very competitive in New Jersey, but you want to buy something good, and we can walk through it together, and you can tell pretty quickly what's a good flip or what's a bad flip. Well, that's a great question. It doesn't make it more competitive, more or less. It really depends on pricing overall, but it just really depends on the property in that situation too. But you want to buy good flips. You want to make sure they know what they're doing. And it's pretty self evident. You can tell the quality of work and what's done on a cheap flip. A 2.7-month supply suggests a seller's market. Should seniors expect more bidding wars, even in age restricted communities? I would expect competition, especially at a 99% list to sales price ratio. So the bidding wars, like in the single family market, are crazy. We were up against 1.3 million in cash in the last two bidding wars I went against in Oakland for some millennial buyers. But a 2.7-month supply, on average, I would say we have about 2 to 3 offers at least that we're competing with on the 55 plus communities we're bidding on as of late. For the single family market, we're at like at least triple that, 7 to 8 offers, at least double, sometimes triple that. So it is competitive. For every real estate property that I've had to generally just take it and just be aggressive with it. So it really depends on the unit. It really depends on the situation. A lot of times, what we do too is we look at properties that are sitting on the market and we go after those. Those tend to be a little bit more negotiable, but it does get competitive. And like I said before, the bidding wars aren't as strong as the single family market, but you can expect strong competition, and the data supports that, and also what we've been seeing. And then a quick question to the viewers: what steps will you take this year to make sure you're not priced out of the retirement style you deserve? I just want to open that up, and we just want to hear what you have to say. You can answer it to us privately if you want. If you want to comment in the sections. And like I said, one of the best ways is to reach out to us, and we can kind of go over your individual situation. But maybe there's a cost saving tip that other people would enjoy or benefit from. I mean, we just canceled our Hulu and Netflix. One of the things we do is we binge a show, we watch it as fast as we can, and then we cancel the Netflix until that time. But the dollars adds, it's nominal savings, but the dollars like that can add up. One of the things we recommend too is take an audit of every subscription you have. You'll be surprised how much you're paying. All right, what a great topic. This was fun. Like I said, please reach out to us with any questions. Our email address is over55nj@gmail.com. You can reach out to us too at over55nj.chat. So great seeing you. Again, we really encourage you to reach out to us. If you have a topic that you want covered, feel free to reach out. We would love to hear that, and we would love to cover it for you and do the research for you. Make it a great day. Please let us know if you have any questions. We're always just an email away, a direct message away too, since all of us are on Facebook. You can just send a direct message. We're not hard to find, as they say these days. And we look forward to hearing from you. We really do. We're a no pressure company. We're very resourceful. And like we say, advanced real estate planning is the way to go. And the best real estate planning is done as far in advance as possible. Like we talked about before, is you want to make sure all your options are open and you want to get ahead of the game. So we'll talk soon. Make it a great day. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we'll get some sun this weekend. And great seeing you. We'll see you on the next one.